A minimal lovable product doesn't have to take a lot of time or cost. Remember, you want to find out as soon as you can and as cheaply as possible. We're also solving one of the biggest chasms of death for startups, spending huge amounts of time and money only to discover there really isn't a market at the scale or at the pace that you thought. This is where being truly entrepreneurial and creative comes in. Here's another example of a creative startup entrepreneur testing an MLP rapidly. The founder of a US-based online shoe and clothing store called Zappos. The founder, Nick Swinmurn, wanted to see if other people were like him in their interest in buying shoes. He didn't have a lot of money and time, so instead of raising a bunch of capital and spending time building a technical MVP, he created the Zappos Concierge MLP. Nick was a shoe lover and believed that other shoe lovers might be open to buying shoes online. However, he wanted to test the assumption quickly and cheaply. He walked into a shoe store in San Francisco and asked the owner if he could just take the store's inventory, put it on his website, and every time someone bought a pair of shoes, he'd come over and buy it from the store owner. It was a win-win situation for both of them, and the store owner said, yeah. After Nick went home, he built a simple website and he listed the shoes and their inventory. He quickly learned that people loved it. The value proposition was clear to early adopters. It was convenient to search through an inventory of shoes and purchase them online. Only after Nick had validated the business model through a real minimal lovable product did he raise significant capital. Now that he needed it in order to scale, but he knew it would work. Although Nick's MLP was successful, it was not scalable. He couldn't leap into running into many stores all the time and selling thousands of shoes. He needed to build out the right product, but he knew specifically what he was building for. Think about an MLP as a quick and cheap hack to deliver the intended experience to a customer and test out whether that experience is important. If they would use that product, how they would think about that product, and if they love it. Once you realize your MLP iteration was successful, and this is what your customer wants, now you need to scale it. We call it nail it and scale it. You need to start thinking about how to make it scalable to service a majority of your customers. You can think of the MLP concept to test new products or new iterations or instantiations of your product as well. When Android launched, its Instant App feature, where users were able to use a lightweight app, like features through an URL, without even installing the app, Vimeo was one of the first companies to get access to it. Vimeo decided to test out their video player to be launched as an instant app, which required them to cut down their 15 megabyte file to a maximum of 4 megabytes. At that time, they could only dedicate one engineer to that product, so they decided to do a little MLP. They did 4 quick, simple things. They deleted everything that wasn't part of the core player code. They trimmed down the Android Instant App to 4 megabytes, and they fixed some bugs, modified the UI to adhere to the Instant App's best practices for end-user experiences. The approach allowed them to quickly produce something that they could test in the marketplace and understand whether there was any lovability. Users responded pretty favorably. They nailed it. Now it was time to scale it. Just to be clear, the scale it part can be quite difficult, but now you know you're solving a technical problem regarding how to build a product you already know, not think, that customers will love.